The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
.906 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Good morning. How are you? I'm excited. I'm very excited. Tuesday, June 18th. Thank you for joining us. You can find me off air as well on Twitter, Instagram, True Social, at Chris Hand on air. They're all the same. Hit the follow button. I'll follow back. Also, you can take us with you wherever you go today with the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or you can listen to the show again or share with a friend via the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Now, as we begin today's show, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited. Did you see that the final debate rules have been issued? Oh yeah. The debate, which happens in less than 10 days, June 27th, Atlanta, Georgia, at the CNN headquarters. The rules are out. The rules are here. And I want to get your takes on the rules as well, because there were some surprising things to me in there. CNN has unveiled the final rules. It includes microphones getting cut off when it's not the candidate's turn to speak. We heard about that. And they say the decision to mute mics comes from 2020 when Trump went after Biden to the point where moderators had to step in. This is according to Daily Mail. So the rule appeared to be targeting the former president. I honestly think it's gonna help Trump more than hurt him. There are other rules in there, though, that I think are going to hurt Biden more than Trump, including no pre-written notes allowed. No pre-written notes, which I think is a huge, huge advantage to Donald Trump. Because as you know about Joe Biden, he needs notes for everything. We've seen the zoomed-in pictures. You know, Karine Jean-Pierre might call it a cheap fake, and we'll get into that later as well. But we've seen the zoomed-in pictures where they say things like, pause, sit down, where it has a picture of the reporter, the name of the reporter, and the reporter's question. So whether Joe's doing a press conference or a meet and greet with another world leader, the guy needs notes. If he's walking somewhere, he needs notes. Joe always has notes. So the fact that they're not allowing pre-written notes into the debate, I think helps Trump.
Do you think they'll allow pre-typed notes?
No, it says no props or pre-written notes allowed.
But that's written. Like are they talking handwritten specifically?
I don't think he's going to get a note card. They're going to decide who starts with a coin toss. Each candidate's going to be given a podium position. The podium position will be determined by a coin flip. No props, pre-written notes. However, candidates are allowed a pen and paper as well as a bottle of water. So you're going to be able to take notes while you're there. Perfect. Here's where things get weird, okay? CNN said over the weekend that it's not impossible for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to still qualify for the debate. They noted that he does need to have 15% support in 4 national polls to take the stage. But they're saying it's not impossible. So the debate's going to be 90 minutes, okay? And I wonder if there's some discussion behind the scenes, behind the curtain, where they don't want you to look, about allowing Robert F. Kennedy into the debate to help Biden. And I'll explain why. You divide up the time, right? If it's a 90-minute debate, you're going to have the moderators take up some time. And I don't want to like overstate how much time the moderators have, but let's say 30 seconds to a minute for questions, breaking stuff up, the intros, the outros. Are there going to be commercial breaks? I'm not sure. Double check if there's going to be commercials. I'm not sure if there is. But so out of the 90 minutes, if it's 2 candidates with a moderator, let's say we give the moderators 10 minutes of that 90, okay? Then you have 40 minutes now where Trump is focused on Biden, okay? Biden has 40 minutes where he's focused on Trump. That's if they go head to head. This is why I think that the Democrats might be having the conversations behind the scenes. Because as soon as you throw RFK in there, that 90 is now divided by 3, minus the question time from the moderators. And now Trump is going to have to divide his answers and his attacks up between 2 candidates. So he gets less time to speak if there's a third candidate. And, hypothetically speaking, 50% of that time would have to be directed towards RFK Jr.
So I did find some stuff on the commercial breaks, which will chop up their time a little more. There are 2 permitted commercials breaks during the entire debate.
2 commercial breaks during debate. So as soon as you add in another candidate, you're going to get less time for Joe to have to speak, less time for Joe to have to be prepared, less time for Joe to have to defend himself. Because if Robert F. Kennedy's in there, he's going to be attacking Trump too. So Trump is going to have to fend off another person. He's going to deal with the moderators. He's going to deal with Joe. And he could potentially be dealing with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. too. It makes perfect sense to me that the Democrats are in a smoke-filled room somewhere behind a fish restaurant talking about, well, what if we just have Joe talking less? What if Trump has to fend off attacks from someone else? They're probably weighing their options, because I would imagine either way you go has the potential for it to blow up in the Democrats' face. Like, hypothetically, Trump is going to divide his time, but, at the same time, it could go the complete opposite way, and they could have 2 candidates versus Biden, and Biden could be on his heels the entire time. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as you get a third candidate in there, it gets really weird. And the Democrats are insane. The Democrats are insane on every level. James Carville, who at one time was pretty respected, he's on MSDNC last night, and he's saying he doesn't even think Trump is going to, he thinks there's a possibility Trump doesn't even show up to the debate.
They did get progress on these rules. Will that matter, or what will matter next week?
Well, if I was a gambler, actually I am a gambler.
Yeah.
I'd take even money if Trump doesn't show up. Okay, I just think...
You don't think Trump's coming next week?
I don't know, but if I was, I think he's going to wake up and say and decide. He just like he said he was going to testify at his defense of his trial. He put on the defense. Let him show up. I wouldn't be shocked, but I certainly would not be surprised. If you gave me even money, I'd say he's a no-show. He'll just get up in the morning and say, I'm just not going to do it.
James Carville is an unhinged lunatic. That's why he fits in so well with the Democrats. Trump is going to show up to the debate on the 27th. The real question is RFK going to be there? And I feel like in back rooms across D.C., they're having this conversation right now. Would it help Biden? would it hurt Biden? 615-737-9986 if you want to jump in and give your thoughts. I think it has the potential to help more than it hurts, just based upon math, napkin math, right? You have 40 minutes to go at Joe Biden if you're Donald Trump, maybe a little bit less if it's 1 versus 1. That time is going to be down to, 25 minutes if you have a third candidate, and half of that time could be defending himself against what RFK says. If I'm the Democrats, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm like, what polls can we fudge to make sure Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is in there? The less amount of time Joe Biden has to speak, the better Joe Biden will look. And I think that this is a subtle move in there. I could be wrong, and maybe they decide against it, but I know they're thinking about it. You have to admit they're thinking about it. I mean, shoot, the Democrats are thinking about everything right now. They got an article in the Daily Mail, the secret Democrat plot to replace Biden revealed. Yeah, I mean, well, we know that they've been thinking about replacing Biden. They know that the writing is on the wall. When you look at the numbers that Joe Biden is losing with the youth vote, with the black vote, with the Muslim vote, it's catastrophic. So Daily Mail has this article, secret Democrat plot to replace Biden revealed. How Clinton, Obama, Pelosi, and Schumer would topple the aging president, and when they do it. It's like a not-so-secret secret. The article reads, nearly every time President Joe Biden appears in public these days, he fuels the chatter. Will aging Joe bow out of the 2024 race, or will he be forced to step aside? In the latest indictment, former President Barack Obama was seen on Saturday reaching for Biden's hand, seemingly guiding the 81-year-old commander-in-chief off the stage at an LA fundraiser, and that came after Biden stood motionless and stared blankly for a full minute at a Juneteenth celebration at the White House on Monday, as others sang and danced around him. Eventually, the brother of the late George Floyd, civil rights activist, obviously, noticed Biden's concerning pause and wrapped his arm around him to help. White House spokesperson Andrew Bates is denying that Biden froze in the viral video, calling it a cheap fake. This is the new one. I love it. They're calling things cheap fakes now because the videos aren't edited. The videos aren't artificial intelligence. But saying cheap fake sounds enough like deep fake, and it implies that the entire thing is false. It implies that it's not a real video. They're rolling with it. I have to say it's a brilliant term that the left has come up with. I have to give them credit. The word cheap fake is brilliant. But it seems no matter how much cold water the Biden campaign or the Democrat Party throw on this raging fire of speculations, Americans will not be put off the great Joe Biden replacement theory, writes the Daily Mail. It's the idea that somehow, some way, he will be swapped out as the candidate ahead of 2024. They say dropping out would be a big risk, but there's some threshold below which continuing to run is a bigger risk. Polling guru Nate Silver wrote on social media last week. Are we there yet? I don't know, but it's more than fair to ask. And Democrats are asking this in back rooms across D.C. and Northern Virginia. Nate Silver is the founder of the website 538, and he noted that Biden's average approval rating has reached a new low, 37.4%. Nate Silver's not the only one that's noting this. Atlantic columnist Mark Lebovich cruelly stamped President Ruth Bader Biden earlier this morning. Ruth Bader Biden. Obviously, he's referencing Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who, had she stepped aside before she passed away, Trump wouldn't have gotten another Supreme Court pick. So they're saying you should do what Ruth Bader should have done and step aside, old man. James Carville, unhinged lunatic, former political mastermind behind Bill Clinton's presidential campaign, said flat out that Biden shouldn't run for re-election. And now people are saying there's a last-ditch effort by Biden's backers to silence his critics inside the party, and that may prove to be his ultimate undoing. According to a Democrat bigwig telling the Daily Mail, people in the back are talking about replacing him. They want to get rid of him. And they say they've deliberately thrown down the gauntlet for an early debate, and I think that's going to be part of the I think that's going to be the point at which Americans judge, is he ready for another term or not? If he falls on his face in the debate, they're going to replace him. That has to be the move. Now, DailyMail.com has learned that if Joe stumbles in that first face-off with Trump, or if his polling numbers keep falling, both more than likely, it'll take a united front of the liberal grandees to make Joe throw in the towel. The only people who could force him out would be Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Pelosi, and Schumer. One Democrat strategist told Daily Mail it would have to be the four of them collectively, and the process would be high risk. One consultant theatrically described the difficulty level of replacing their candidate as similar to trying to turn that doomed container ship that careened into Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore in May. The bridge collapsed. But other party insiders concede that the candidate swap could work if everything was carefully planned and executed. Yep. Just like every good sort of idea that the Democrats come with, it could work, and then ultimately it probably won't because it's the Democrats doing it. So will the Democrats remove Joe Biden as the candidate before we get to November? Does RFK entering the debate hurt or help Joe Biden's chances against Trump in the debate? Does it hurt or help Trump? 615-737-9986. Would love to get your reaction on that and more, whether you want to call in or jump on the Members Nutrition Super Text line. We got more on the way. It's the Chris Hand Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Paul Winkler, Inc. You know Paul. I know Paul. Paul's a great guy. He hosts the Investor Coaching Show here on WTN, and I learned a lot from listening to his show. In fact, I was learning from his show before I got my show here. So when I did get my show here, it was just an easy choice to work with Paul and his team. I was actually giddy for it. They're like, hey, do you want to meet Paul? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I feel like I know him already. You might feel the same way if you listen to his show. My wife and I would listen and learn so much. And when I got my show here, it was so easy to link up. And it's because Paul and his team hold themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status. As such, Paul wants to make sure I tell you I get paid when I do these commercials. He wants that honesty and transparency from the jump. I respect that. I like that. You don't really hear that anywhere else. I also want to make the point that while I am getting paid to do commercials, I'm not getting paid to be a client. I'm a client by choice, and I'm a client because I trust Paul, his team, and his advice. I like that Paul's team holds themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status. I like that Paul's team doesn't do anything on commission. I like that their main focus is education. That's really what I needed. That's really what I signed up for, was that education. And Paul and his team are there for me every step of the way. They can be there for you as well. That education is so helpful, making sure you never have that uneasy feeling of blind trust when it comes to your investments. You don't want that. You want to be totally trusting and totally confident in the moves you're making. Paul and his team will do that for you. They'll look at your whole financial picture before they help you make decisions, because that's going to be unique to you. And after they do that, well, then they get the ball rolling for you. But it starts by setting up a 15-minute phone call today. Go to paulwinkler.com and make that happen. That's paulwinkler.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Checking traffic, still got crashes blocking the way. Ellington Parkway southbound at Douglas Avenue, then in Whites Creek 24 eastbound right before Briley Parkway north. That's about an 8-minute delay. Stop and go traffic starting at OHB. And then in White House, Sumner County, they have just cleared that crash 65 southbound just past Bethel Road. And police are on the hunt for some pellet gun suspects here in Middle Tennessee. Coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 9:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. So RFK could still qualify for debates. Who does that hurt? Who does that help? I think it helps Biden, right? Because Biden would have less time to talk. I asked what you guys thought. Got a great text from here from Keith on the Members Nutrition text line at 615-737-9986. He said, I think having RFK in there would hinder any Democrat replacement being able to get the base to coalesce behind them. So that's a good take, Keith. You know, you are platforming a guy that shares a lot of the same views as Joe Biden. 9557 says it's obvious that the DNC and CNN are in cahoots as far as the rules go to give Joe the shaft with the no notes rule. I've had a couple texts where people are saying it seems like the rules are going to hurt Biden. I mean, the no pre-prepared notes, Joe Biden doesn't do anything without pre-prepared notes. I think he has notes that say walk down the stairs when he's leaving the airplane. He has notes for everything. 0873 weighed in and says it's no difference. Joe still has to stand for the amount of time that he's there. Yep. So 1827, joining late, says, is he scheduled to be there? CNN said that it's still possible that RFK Jr. could qualify for this debate. And I want to know if you think that helps Joe or if that helps Biden. 615-737-9986. Did I say if it helps Joe or if it helps Biden? I meant if it helps Trump or if it helps Biden. 1509 says he believes it helps Trump. I think some of the rules definitely help Trump. The no notes, that helps Trump. The mute button on the mic, I know everybody says that hurts Trump. I think that helps Trump. And one other thing that I has been really in my mind after the no notes rule, Trump keeps saying that he wants Joe Biden to take a drug test before the debate. I would argue that it's going to be far more important to pat him down for an earpiece, a wire, digital contact lenses, anything that would give him the advantage or have somebody be in his ear telling him answers to questions. I think it would be far more important to scrub Biden for that than any kind of drug test would be. Personally, maybe I'm on an island by myself there, but if they can cheat and get an advantage, I wouldn't put anything past the Democrats. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Hotter today than it was yesterday, and that's going to be the case every day this week. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, police investigating after several people report getting shot with a pellet gun in Spring Hill last night. News 2 says reports started coming in around 6:30 in the area of Duplex Road at Cochran Trace Drive, starting with a woman hit in the leg. The pellets were fired from a silver SUV, possibly a Volvo or Toyota 4Runner. And a toxicology report for Riley Strain shows his blood alcohol level was nearly triple the legal limit. News Channel 5 says Strain also had traces of Delta-9 in his system, a legal form of THC. His death ruled accidental. Strain's body was found in the Cumberland River 3 miles from downtown 2 weeks after he went missing while out with friends on Lower Broad, his fraternity trip here to Nashville. And entertainment news, a law enforcement official says singer Justin Timberlake was arrested last night for allegedly driving while intoxicated on New York's Long Island. Timberlake due in court today in Sag Harbor. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, Stan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
937 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, talking about the latest rules for the debate between Joe Biden and Donald J. Trump, which happens on the 27th of June. We are less than 10 days away. I'm very excited. And the rules, they look like they favor Trump in my eyes. I think they do. No pre-written notes. The mics get muted. I know people say that that's going to hurt Trump. I think that helps him. I really do. But there was something I caught in the article that really caught my eye about how RFK Jr. could still qualify. And I wonder if the Democrats are weighing their options about picking their poison. Maybe they think just having less time for Joe to talk is a good thing. Maybe just they do the napkin math and they realize, well, divide it by 3 and we have less time to cover. It could backfire. But what do you think about it? 615-737-9986. Keith in Cross Plains, what do you think about RFK joining the debate?
Hey, good morning, Chris. I'm like you. I believe that, I think, I agree with about everything that you said. The only thing I had said earlier was that I think that may hinder the Democrats coalescing behind any replacement for Biden. But now I got to sitting here when I was thinking about it, what if they decided then to go with RFK Jr. as his replacement? Could you see that happening?
I don't know. I think that the Dems have really turned away from RFK because of his vaccine stance. But I've said for the longest time, had they chose RFK as the nominee or given him an actual shot for the Democrat Party, it would be a different race.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. I just see it splitting their vote even more. I don't think it's going to hurt Trump either way, except it could with some independents. But, again, it's going to split them, and he's still going to have his base, which I think is just overwhelmingly enough to win. I don't care what these polls say. Mm-hmm. They must be going to the East and West Coast to take their polls is the only thing I can think of.
The polls never overestimate for Trump, do they, Keith?
They do not.
Hey, I appreciate your call, man, and thanks for weighing in. I got a text here from 1509 that it's a good take. It says, with RFK's speech impediment and Joe Biden's disability, I think it's going to help Trump in the long run if RFK is involved in the debate. I'm not trying to be mean, but that is what it is. I don't think you're being mean. I think you're being realistic, 1509. I said that's actually a really solid take. I've had so many friends when the first time they hear RFK speak, they go, ooh, that's what he sounds like? Ooh. So I hear that. I hear that critique. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Dave in McMinnville, what's your take, man?
Well, something y'all ain't thinking of. We got this modern day chaos and electronics, and the government knows everything you're doing, whether it's a bathroom or a kitchen. Now, my opinion, if this sucker don't stutter once, there's only 2 probabilities. They either got a micro implant in his ear that's telling him what to say, and he's being a puppet, or they got to feel him, because this dude is way, way out there. He can't remember his name. So I'm telling you, we're in trouble, and people need to stand and start talking and shoulder to shoulder, and let's complain and get rid of this, because I'm telling you, it's getting worse by the day.
I hear you, Dave. I appreciate your call. And the way you say that ear implant thing, my head goes there immediately. For all the talk about drug testing, I think that Trump needs to be pushing for, let's figure out if he's wearing an earpiece. Let's figure out if he's wearing some LED high-tech contact lenses. You think about all the things that these intel agents might have. Well, that's what they could be assisting Biden. Because let's be honest, who do you think the intel agencies want to win the presidency in 2024? I don't see any former intel agents signing letters for Donald Trump on his behalf. I don't see many former intel agencies trying to assist Trump in any way. I do remember them spying on his campaign, though.
I did see a funny tweet from, not a tweet, a message from 2889 that said, imagine Joe having to prep more and forgetting who he's talking to in the middle of the debate. So everything he's trying to target at RFK, he starts saying to Trump and then vice versa.
Well, and I think that's why this was added to the conversation and why this might be a calculated move by the Democrats. You know, RFK has not been a conversation of these debates for a while now. At like the last hour, he's coming in as maybe still qualifying. I think that's fascinating, and I wonder if their thinking is, well, he'll talk less, but it could definitely blow up in their face if RFK Jr.'s in there, because he could just have two candidates attacking him. Biden could, but you know, you have as much of a chance of it going the other way towards Trump. Pat and Gallatin, what do you think about this?
Okay, well, here's my honest thoughts on the debate. I really wish that it wouldn't happen, because I'm really afraid that Trump, being himself, will not be able to help, like saying insulting things to Biden. And I don't think that would affect anybody who's a Trump supporter. But I do think it will affect people that are on the fence, and they'll be like, oh, there he goes. He's a real a-hole. He just can't keep his mouth shut. So that's what I'm really fearing.
Well, but this is why I think the mic muting rule is going to help Trump, because he's not going to. There's not going to be that talking over. Nobody's going to be talking over Trump. Trump's not going to be talking over anybody else. Do I think that there's an opportunity for him to get, upset and angry and mad? Absolutely. Yeah. And do I think he has every right to be? 100%. 100%. But I think if we've learned anything with Trump in court and how focused he's been on his campaign trail, I think we're going to see a much more seasoned veteran politician, Donald Trump, in this debate.
Well, I couldn't help more that that's the case. I just really worry about it, because I do know people who are on the fence, and they're like, if he could just act stately. Well, hopefully he can, and he can have that same court demeanor, because I just hope he just sticks to how rotten of President Biden is.
Yeah, and let's point out the lies. Let's point out the fact that at the last debate they said the laptop wasn't real, and now the FBI is testifying at Hunter's trial that not only is it real, but it wasn't hacked, it wasn't tampered with. It's like the most real.
I couldn't agree more, and I feel like it is the most, I'm in my 70s, it is the most important election I will ever vote in. That is for sure.
I hear you, Pat. I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Betty in Mount Juliet, your take. Oh, Betty hung up. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. I did get a text from our friend Todd, who he says he's here, but late. But here. Show starts at 9, Todd. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about RFK possibly being involved in the debate. RFK. CNN issued final rules for the debate. No prepared notes. Mics will be muted. We got podiums. You're going to have to stand, Joe. You're going to have to stand. 90 minutes long. There's going to be 2 commercial breaks. So why is RFK in the discussion now? Well, CNN said that it's not impossible for Kennedy to qualify at this point. He does need to get 15% support in 4 national polls to take the stage, per Fox News. But I think there's something calculated going on, and I think they're weighing their options behind the scenes. Is it better to not have Joe talk as much and have another guy to divide the time? Could it blow up in your face where you have 2 candidates attacking Joe Biden? Absolutely. Could it work in your favor where you have 2 candidates going after Donald Trump? Definitely. Is Trump going to have to defend himself against RFK's attacks if he's in there, leaving less time to go after Joe Biden? 100%. And I think that this is the calculation that they need to take. Is the risk worth the reward for the Democrats? Elena in Chapel Hill, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I was thinking about if they let RFK Jr. in the debate. I think it's going to hurt Biden more than Trump, because I think he realizes that Biden is honestly the weaker candidate of the two. With inflation the way it is, the open border, I think Biden is the most vulnerable of the two candidates, and I think RFK Jr. would be going after those votes more than Trump's votes. He knows the MAGA supporters are strong. No, they're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But the Biden voters are the ones who are looking for an option.
So you think that it really, if RFK's in the debate, he's going to steal more voters from Biden than from Trump?
I sure do. I sure do. I feel like the Biden voters are the ones who are looking for an option, and they're, Trump for them is hard for them to move to Trump because they've been, a lot of them are so vocal about hating Trump. They're looking at him, and but they really want an option, and RFK Jr. knows that. So I think that he would really go after Biden hard.
Yeah.
I think Biden's going to really be in trouble if they let RFK Jr. in there, too. He's really going to be attacked.
I hear what you're saying, but, there are a lot of moderates out there and a lot of independents that could be leaning towards Trump. And I think having...
I hope so. I hope so.
but having Trump have to split his time, theoretically, between defending himself from RFK's attacks and being on the offensive against Joe Biden, that does dilute the messaging.
It does. However, I know Trump can do it. I'm not worried about Donald Trump standing up for himself against anyone. He's proven time and time again he can do it. So I'm not worried about his messaging. He'll show that he's the man for the job.
Base take. I appreciate it, Elena.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Joyce in McMinnville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Joyce?
Hi. I think the debate may end up being a little way for them to get out and say he's not capable mentally. And I think either they're going to put Michelle Obama in or Hillary Clinton. And she showed up at the board the other night. She was hilarious, but I think that's what they're planning. I honestly don't think Biden's going to make it.
Yeah, no, and a lot of people share your thinking that Biden's not going to make it, Joyce. I don't think it would be Hillary Clinton. I think that ship has sailed. And the fact that her husband was recently tied to Epstein again via the lawsuits, I think that it's going to be a hard sell for the Democrats to support Hillary.
Well, I was thinking Michelle Obama president, and maybe she would get her in there because they want the black vote as well as the women, and they're so pro-abortion that it's crazy.
Michelle Obama makes sense to me. It definitely makes more sense for the left than Gavin Newsom, because if you have Gavin Newsom leapfrog Kamala Harris, it's like, oh no, a white man just took the job that was supposed to be a black woman's, and that's going to really mess with their base. Michelle Obama would alleviate that.
I think they're throwing Newsom out there just to get you off the guard. Because Michelle Obama keeps saying, I'm not going to run. Yeah, right. She's going to. I'm telling you, they're going to put her in there at the last minute. They're going to say he's mentally incapable. And that's going to be it.
I hear you. I do tend to agree with Brian Wilson, though, and I've heard Brian say it time and time again, that Michelle Obama hated D.C. She hated everything about it, and that she doesn't want to go
America.
back.
I mean, she hates America. She more or less says so. So, but still, it's sour. Her husband, we all know they're running Biden. Biden's not running anything. Obama's pulling his strings like a puppet. So he will also be in there with her, helping her run the country again.
Fair enough. Good take, Joyce. I appreciate your call. Thanks so much. 615-737-9986. I got time for one more caller if you want to get in on this. The debate rules are out. No pre-written notes. You're not going to be able to talk over people. Your mic is going to be muted. And RFK could still qualify per CNN. Sylvie in Nashville, what do you think?
Hey, Chris, I was wondering, do you think the Democrats would offer something to RFK to help out Biden to attack Trump or something?
I think that RFK and the Democrats' rift is too wide at this point. You have RFK's own family members endorsing Joe Biden. You have them calling RFK crazy. Everybody thinks his vaccine stances are crazy. I don't think that RFK melds with the Democrats at all because of the vaccine mandates that they pushed. That's not his style. I don't think if they did offer him anything, I don't think he's buying. As much as I disagree with RFK on a lot of policies, I do think he's principled, and I think he looks at the Democrats as intel-run opposition. And, you know, he has his own issues with intel agencies dating back to his father and his uncle.
Are you going to watch the debate?
Am I going to watch the debate? Oh, my gosh. I'm going to watch it twice, Sylvie. Are you watching it?
I'm going to watch it. The thing is that if RFK is in there, I don't know how much I can handle that voice.
I hear you. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you for the call, Sylvie. I do see a couple other people hanging on the line. We'll get to your calls next. It's 9:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California...
Stop and go traffic, I-65 southbound in White House. This between Springfield, White House Highway 76, exit 108 and exit 104. That's a 16-minute delay for some reason. Riley Strain's toxicology report released and a brand new whistleblower at Boeing coming up at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. Got a fast and furious stream of reaction coming in on if RFK joins the debate and Joe Biden in the debate. Got a text here, 1764, first-time text to our show. Said, Chris, CNN is going to give the questions to Biden. How else do you think they're going to get away with it? Well, it's happened before. Donna Brazil got the questions to Hillary Clinton in 2016. We know that. Another texter made the comment about RFK Jr.'s voice, kind of being a detractor for him. And we had a super texter, Keith, say, what does RFK sound like? Can you remind me? Can you give me some audio, Mason? This is RFK.
Well, listen, I can make the argument that President Biden is a much worse threat to democracy.
I mean, for better or worse, that voice does kind of turn people off. Just the truth. Tommy in Antioch, real quick, what's your thoughts on RFK possibly joining the debate?
A quick reality statement. Unless Joe falls down the stairs coming off the 747, he's going to be the candidate. They will not replace him. For all those who are thinking the opposite, trust me, they're going to go with him.
All right, Tommy, I'm going to put you back on hold, okay? Because I want to talk to you more after Ken Weaver's newscast. Is that cool? Appreciate it, Tommy. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, we know the details of Riley Strain's autopsy report. It says Strain had a blood alcohol content of 0.228. That's nearly 3 times the legal limit to drive. There was also Delta-9, a legal form of THC, in his system. Strain's autopsy report comes out more than 2 months since he disappeared in downtown Nashville, and his body was pulled from the river 2 weeks later, 8 miles from where he was last seen. He still had on the black and white shirt he was wearing when he went missing. Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun set to testify before Senate lawmakers today, but there is another whistleblower who currently works at Boeing who says the company has been cutting corners on manufacturing for years. We get more from Gio Benitez.
He is a current employee at Boeing. He's named Sam Mohawk. He alleges that Boeing is cutting corners by losing track of parts that have been labeled as non-conforming or not up to design standards. Now, while some of these parts can be fixed, most, he says, should be thrown away. Instead, he says they sometimes end up in newly built airplanes. He believes this could lead to a catastrophic event. He also alleges that he was ordered to hide those non-conforming parts ahead of an FAA inspection.
Right now in Middle Tennessee, police are investigating after several people report getting shot with a pellet gun in Spring Hill last night. News 2 says reports started coming in around 6:30 in the area of Duplex Road at Cochran Trace Drive. A woman hit in the leg. Then 3 people on a golf cart on Wilkes Lane reported getting hit by pellets. Officers responded to the Wilkerson Place subdivision after 7 after another woman was hit with a pellet gun. The pellets were fired from a silver SUV, possibly a Volvo or Toyota 4Runner. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. A super texter a little while ago had asked for a sample of RFK's voice, so I played the clip, and people say, the voice will hurt him in a debate if he does make it to the debate stage. But you super texters are ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. Sally says, RFK's voice sounds like he's an informant that had to have their voice disguised.
Listen, I can make the argument that President Biden is a much worse threat to democracy.
4682 says, RFK sounds as if he's been gargling Brillo pads. You're ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. Brian says, RFK's voice is third on the list of things I can't stand about him. Number 1 and 2 is his stance on abortion and gun control. That makes him useless to me. Yeah, RFK Jr., he is okay with full-term abortion.
But so to leave, so in other words, keeping it as is with Roe versus Wade having been overturned and leaving it up to the states to determine if and when a woman can have an abortion?
No, I wouldn't leave it to the states.
You wouldn't, right?
No, I would.
You would say completely. It's up to the woman.
My belief is we should leave it to the woman. We shouldn't have government involved,
even if it's full term.
Even if it's full term.
And that's RFK's stance on abortion. He is as far left as you can go. Full term abortion. That's RFK. I mean, when you're that far left, maybe there is some credence to the Democrats possibly replacing Joe Biden with RFK. I don't think that's going to happen. I think if they're going to replace Joe Biden with anyone, the smart move would be Michelle Obama. And you can look at Biden losing his black support via the polls. But that's Biden and the Democrats. The Obamas are a different beast. And you definitely need that voting bloc to win an election. Tommy in Antioch, though, he called a minute ago, and he doesn't think that Biden is going to be replaced at all. Tommy, what's your take?
I still think it. Okay, there's too much money in the pot for him. His press person or persons get up in front of the crowd and say he's so cool. You listen to anybody who has met with him one-on-one, he's 100%, he's the smartest guy in the room. Big companies will not let him go because he's on their side, and it's way too late. Michelle doesn't want it. It's too late to pump up anybody else. They've got to keep him for the embarrassment figure, if nothing else.
But it's technically not too late, okay? There's an August 7th deadline to get on the Ohio ballot. And then a lot of the country is August 19th for their convention in Chicago. Theoretically, it's not too late.
I don't mean too late as far as getting them in. I mean it's too late to say, oh, God, he really is stupid. They can't do that. They have nobody to replace him that really has risen above the crowd.
So you don't think a Gavin Newsom would be better than Joe? You don't think a Michelle Obama would be better than Joe, at least in the eyes of the Democrat Party?
No. Michelle doesn't want it. You keep saying that. They're not going to back down on that. Gavin Newsom, already been defeated. It's just not going to happen. Somebody mark this down. It's going to be Joe. We're going to ridicule him. He's going to walk out with his head between his tail, and that'll be over.
I hope you're right, Tommy, because I don't think there's an easier candidate to beat.
Oh, yes, we want to beat him, but I just don't think they have the gumption or the guts to replace him. It would look so bad with a big D in front of your name.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Tommy. Thanks so much, man. Let's go to Mark in Hermitage, who wants to talk about the debate and the muted mics. What's up, Mark?
Hey, Chris, man, love the show. Yeah, when they first announced the debates, I was extremely worried because the last debate, Trump was so on target and really hammering Joe, and he needs to be hammered. But all the Democrat friends that I have never tell me how good Joe is. They tell me how bad Trump is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's after they listen to him talk, because he's so strong that he's talking over Joe, that, you know, they can't say anything positive about him. They always say, oh, it's Trump's bad. But with the mics turned off, we're going to hear Joe, and he is going to fail huge. And I'm just so grateful that he will have a chance for all of us to see exactly who he is. And as far as JFK Jr., I'm okay with it because anything that he pulls from the Democratic Party just gives Trump more.
Well, I think that this resurgence of RFK Jr. possibly being in the debate is calculated by the left because, like you said, with the muted mics, Joe's going to be exposed. But if you have another candidate in there, now the time is divided by 3, and Trump is going to have to spend his time deflecting attacks from RFK and from Joe Biden. And a lot of people are saying that RFK will just straight up attack Biden. I don't think that's the case. I think that he would really try and make it a two-man race between him and Trump and kind of push Joe off to the side. And I think that does help Joe. The less he talks, the more it would favor Joe in a debate.
Yeah, I see your point of view. The less he talks. The one thing I would say that Joe has is he's gotten us into so many wars that all the defense contractors are spending money like crazy. They love him.
Oh, yeah.
Trump was out of all of that stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It's tough, man, but it's going to be fun.
Yep. And defense contractors and intel agents, they love Joe Biden. I appreciate the call, Mark. And this is one of the things Trump keeps pushing for a drug test. I feel like they should push for a pat down and find out if is he wearing a wire? Is he wearing a transmitter of some kind? Is he getting audio piped in? I think that's going to be a far bigger issue if it's the case than any kind of drug cocktail he's on. Although it's Joe Biden, so never underestimate his ability to F things up. Let's go to Mike on the road. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, Mike?
How you doing there, Mr. Hand?
I'm good.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're loud and clear, man. What's up?
All right. Well, first off, it's obvious Obama's running things from the basement. And Biden, if you notice, he's got brown eyes now. He used to have blue eyes. He's wearing a mask. That's not Biden. I mean, he's got brown eyes now, and he used to have blue. What's the deal?
I've seen the mask theories. And these things, I don't know. It wouldn't shock me. George Washington had a body double. Like nothing would surprise me. But
yeah,
I
did want to make one other point, if I could, and that is that two. One, I heard a audio the other day of Biden talking about how in October the news is going to be pushing about how all the bank systems are fine, but then the bank systems are all going to close.
Yeah, I heard that audio clip too. I didn't see that. I didn't see it corroborated anywhere. That doesn't mean it's not true. Right. I just haven't heard. Right. I haven't, and from like the guys that I follow and I trust, I haven't heard anything about it. So I take all of that with a heavy dose of salt until I'm proven otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, there's never going to be another election. There's 30 legal criminals here for a reason. And Biden is giving them permission to get weapons while he's trying to take ours away. I think they're going to attack us. We're going to run out of ammunition, shut the power grid off, and it's done. There ain't going to be another election. Ain't no way.
Yeah, no, I'm not with you on that. I do think there's going to be another election. I do think that your point about the threat of the illegal aliens in our country is a real one. I get where you're at there. You know, in certain cities across the country, they're trying to make illegal aliens be able to be police officers. That's definitely scary. It's definitely a threat. I'm not going to go as far as, we're going to be just like Ukraine and suspend elections. But
you really think after all they've done to Trump that they're going to let him get back in? There ain't no way in heck they're going to let him get back in.
Well,
no way.
I mean, time will tell, right? I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate. I hope you're wrong too. I appreciate your take. For me, I just don't want to get too fully black-pilled. If you start saying that there's not going to be an election, there's no way Trump gets in, and we're too black-pilled, we're too doomer-pilled, then, what are we doing this for? What are we doing this for? I do get where people are coming from. I understand the frustration, but that's not where I'm going. That's not. But yet, the administration still covers for Joe Biden and lies for him every single day. This is one of the things that actually makes me not black-pilled and not doom-pilled. The fact that they're still bombarding us with propaganda and lies from the left means that not all is lost, okay? If everything was lost and the left had already won, the propaganda and the lies would be useless. They wouldn't need to do it. They wouldn't need to waste their time. They wouldn't need to lie to us. But they do. They lie to us all the time. And Karine Jean-Pierre yesterday was a prime example of that, coining a new phrase, cheap fakes. Cheap fakes. It was her first press briefing in 3 weeks in person. And there's been a lot of videos since then of Joe standing frozen at the Juneteenth celebration, of Joe being guided back to the crowd by the Italian president, of Joe being guided off stage by Barack Obama. And Karine Jean-Pierre was so upset to be asked about this. She's so mad that we have the audacity to post unedited videos of the president on the internet. She couldn't believe it. And she can't let Republicans keep getting away with it. So she's coined a new term. The term is cheap fakes. Cheap fakes.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more of.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith, and some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation.
The fact checkers have a credibility problem in this country. Does anybody listening believe in a fact checker? Honestly, the fact checkers have lied to us so many times. Oh, the vaccine's safe and effective. You won't catch COVID. It didn't come from a lab. The fact checkers have been screwing us for years. The fact checkers have a credibility issue. Also, I was quite annoyed when she says, you guys came up with cheap fake after she just coined a new term yesterday. This term was born yesterday. And I did have a problem where she says cheap fake video and she doesn't use an S because it's a plural. We have numerous of these videos.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video.
Cheap fakes video? Videos, plural.
And that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith. And some of your news organization.
And some of your news organization. What is with her not using S's at the end of the words when they should be there? The way she talks just annoys the bejesus out of me. But she says that we're posting videos in bad faith. Oh, okay. This is the same regime that posted a video of Trump saying, "I don't care about your vote," a 6-second clip, as a joke at a rally. And then when you watch the longer video, a second after he says, "I don't care about your vote," he points at the news camera, goes, and the left-wing media is going to take that out of context, and everybody's laughing. We're posting videos in bad faith of a doddering old man with memory issues being lost. We have the credibility issues. Are you kidding me? This administration has had a credibility issue since they took office by silencing opposition, either on social media or putting dissenters in prison. This entire regime has a credibility issue. But she coins a new term. She calls it cheap fake because if she says deep fake, she's lying because the videos have not been manipulated, not been edited. They're just posted to the internet. How dare you bigot Republicans do that? Stop sharing those videos, those cheap fake video. Unbelievable. And she goes on to quote the Washington Post saying, oh, even the Washington Post says these videos are misleading. And then she tries to make the president the victim, saying he was just thanking troops, and tries to say that Republicans are desperate.
And so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation. And I'll quote the Washington Post, where they wrote about this, and they said,
the Washington Post, where democracy dies in darkness, and they're cool with their writers doxing libs of TikTok and lying to the American public. But Wanted to preface that.
How Republicans use misleading videos to attack Biden in a 24-hour period. And to their credit, we have a conservative Washington Examiner did call them out as well, calling out the New York Post. Ironically, several recent cheap fakes actually attacked the president for thanking troops. For thanking troops. That is what they're attacking the president for.
I love how Joe Biden's the victim. He was thanking troops. He was thanking troops, and they're attacking him for that. Okay, he wandered away from the group. He was guided back by the Italian president. Okay, yes, we saw him give the thumbs up to the paratrooper that didn't understand that this old man was staring at him. Got it? But we acknowledge that. What about when he gets back to the group and he awkwardly, slowly rises his aviator glasses to his face and puts them on like he can barely move? What about that?
Both in Normandy, this happened, and again in Italy. And I think that it tells you everything that we need to know about how desperate Republicans are here.
Yeah, I mean, we're not desperate. We're just pointing things out. It's desperate when the Democrats take Trump out of context and say he's promising a bloodbath for America when he was promising a bloodbath for the auto industry. That's desperation. The entire Biden campaign reeks of desperation. And this new term, cheap fakes, just puts that on full display. I have more audio from KJP on the way, plus your phone calls in reaction to cheap fakes at 615-737-9986. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand here talking about my friends at the Glock store. And if you've ever visited the Glock store, well, you got friends at the Glock store too. They have the most friendly staff. When I went for my training session a couple weeks ago, I went early because the latest I'm ever going to show up is on time. So I'm there early. I'm poking around. I kid you not. I was greeted by every single employee in that place. Every single staff member asked me if I needed help with anything, if they could help me find something, if I had any questions. Every single one. So, of course, if you've visited the Glock store, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, well, then you really should, especially if you have any interest whatsoever in Glock handguns and Glock performance parts. I mean, that's the reason it's called the Glock store. If it has anything to do with Glock, anything whatsoever, you can bet it's on the shelf at the Glock store. And if it's not there, well, they probably have it in the warehouse about to be brought out. They get all the latest stuff. And then when it comes to the performance parts, oh my gosh, for your own Glock, you should really go to the source, the Glock store. They'll install your performance parts for free while you wait. I had a tour of that room back there. I could have stayed there all day. I felt like a kid walking through Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. That's what it's like at the Glock store. And of course, they have incomparable Shoot 270 indoor ranges. The no lane range nonsense at the Glock store is incredible. Just you and an instructor in a private shooting room, and their instructors are top notch. I trained with Kevin, who is fantastic, but all of their trainers are the best. I've been to lots of other gun stores and a lot of indoor ranges. But once I found the Glock store, I knew I found my favorite place to buy and to train, especially to train. That's the Glock store on Air Lane Drive, just off of Elm Hill Pike and Briley Parkway. The Glock store and GlockStore.com, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
The guaranteed offer is the
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Still got a crash in Sumner County. This is 65 southbound past Bethel Road in White House. The left shoulder is blocked. It is stop and go starting at the Springfield White House Highway 76, exit 108. All the stories that are the top stories, including the autopsy report on Riley Strain, coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Only the top stories with Ken Weaver, the tippy top, if you will. And we're talking about the rise of the cheap fake.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a